So we would wait another 5 minutes for others to join the meet.
So there are only 39 for now. That's quite less. So we'll wait for them.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. Good morning. My name is Sudhay Agrawal, and it is my great honor and pleasure to welcome Mr. Madan Sudarman, Director Technology Solutions at EPAM. He is here to share his extensive knowledge on cloud computing industry. Madan sir oversees nearly 40,000 transactions per second for organizations like DHL and WHO. And perhaps the most exciting part of this webinar will be that some of our attendees with non-CS backgrounds will be inspired by his non-CS experience. Yes, you heard it right. He is here today to share with us his knowledge on the topic based on his years of his experience. So, what are we waiting for? Here comes Mr. Madan. Over to you, sir. Now,
Hey, thanks, Uday. Thanks, Ansh. Very good morning to all of you. I hope you're able to see me and hear me very well.
yeah, sir, it's
Great,
clear.
great. That's nice. Firstly, on this very special day, appreciate you all making time. It's always good to learn, but on a holiday like this, you making time in the morning is very nice. So I thought before we get on with the introduction and the agenda, let's take a moment to wish you all a happy Independence Day. And when we, think about our history, 75 years of independence, it's great. But I think with young and bright minds like you all, it's great, to think about our future as well. Uday mentioned about myself. For me, I'm very proud to be an Indian. Okay. And I traveled a lot, I would say 30, 40 countries, both for business and leisure. And the way people look at India, it's only getting better and better. And it's so nice to see some of our leaders, leading global organizations like, Sundar Pichai from Chennai, is also from XIT. He is now with Google leading the show for the entire world. If you see, it's great, right? Satya Nadella, many others like following. It's so great. I hope some of you make it big, make us proud. With that note, let me start with my introduction first before we get on with the agenda. A quick check, Uday. Would you like to wait for more to join, or can I start with the introduction?
We can start, sir. Like,
Great.
we will join in the meet.
Okay, great. So, see, myself, I'm in the industry for about 23 years now. Yeah, okay, so it's good or bad. It's up to you to decide. For me, if you look at my career graph, I've started as a core developer, developing core components. Very early, 98, I started to develop COM and all that. So I always focus on building reusable components. And, the start, if you look at it, was very tough those days. But now there are so many opportunities that you have to leverage the technology right way. Okay. For me, I started with development, progress to architecture very early. I'll explain why. And I've also led a lot of delivery engagements across the globe. And now the last 5 years, I'm solely focusing on cloud transformation. If you look at this session today, workshop, I think this part is what is going to be more fascinating for you all. I'm going to share a lot of practical, use cases, experiences, and not from the past, and more about the roadmap, right? How you guys starting now can think about cloud and leverage. Okay, so that's going to be the key focus. For me now, I'm currently working as a director focused on technology solutions, and I've chosen Azure Cloud as a platform of my choice now. It just happened the last 5 years. Mostly I worked on Azure compared with AWS and GCP or other platforms like Pivotal Cloud Foundry. Have used OpenShift and all that, but I wanted to specialize in Azure. Okay, so I've chosen that with EPAM. So EPAM, to give you a quick idea, it's an European based company listed in North America. We just started to expand in India. It's an engineering driven company. It's a fantastic company for those who want to be hardcore in the technology. So it's a key differentiator compared to many Indian IT services company. I would welcome you to have a look at our website. In terms of my experience, much of me, what I'm today, was shaped up by Siemens. I'm grateful to this company. So they introduced me early into the architecture. So being part of the research and development unit of Siemens very early, I started to switch from COM to service-oriented architecture as early as 2001. I'm also started practicing Agile in 2001. Ken Schwaber, one of the founders, he was at our campus. So great learning and shaping for me from Siemens. So I had to come back to India in 2010 because of my daughters. I want them to be raised in India. I've been with other MNCs like Computer Science Corporation, Tech Mahindra, in my career. And in terms of education, like for me, most relevant for you all to know is like I'm a certified software architect from Software Engineering Institute, SCI, from Carnegie Mellon. So I did this in 2008. So this is something, something for you to consider. It is technology agnostic. It is about how you approach architecture. That doesn't change much. So this is something we can talk about it later. I've also done my MS in the UK full time, and I've done an executive MBA from IIM Bangalore in 2011. So as I progressed in my career, I augmented with the right level of training and qualification for me to do the things the right way. Okay, so I would encourage you all. While there are so many short courses available and all that, they can never replace a strong foundation. So do both. Okay, so we'll talk about it in the learning session. That's a quick intro about myself. I know it's a webinar. It's going to be one way, but we will try to make it as interactive as possible. So we are going to encourage you ask questions. There are some questions already the organizers have shared with me. So I'll get on with the the objective that is shared for this session and what are the topics we're going to cover. It's always good to summarize and have an alignment, right? So that will help us to focus on the key topics in this workshop today. So what I understand is the background of these students attending the session today, predominantly coming from data science and applications background. And you are looking at exploring cloud computing. So it's going to be more at an introductory level. So with that keeping in mind, when I look at the topics, I try to keep it introductory level, but at the same time, something that will give you an idea about how you should approach, right? That's very important when you talk about a practitioner like me. When you go to typical training courses, they'll talk about benefits, what career options you have and all that. So that is one thing. But actually, when you get into an organization, when you perform your role, how your day is going to look like. And that's something that you can do an internship, talk to some of the people. And for me, I can give you an idea about the various options available there. And also more importantly, how you can align yourself to the roadmap. Okay. So we'll also see some practical application. And the learning part is going to be a key focus in the topic today. I'll try to give you some links as well there. So don't try to make a lot of notes here. I'm going to share the deck and also the links that I'm going to use for the presentation. I'll share with you so that you can, use it for further reading. Opportunity is something we will discuss because you're learning after all to, have a fantastic career. So we look at what are the opportunities. And I'll give my perspective. I think that's again an industry view, right? To sum it up, and then we will have, I think half of the session is going to be Q&A, okay? So there are some predefined questions coming from you all, and something that you want to ask, please put it in the chat, respective chat, wherever you are, whether it's YouTube or, Zoom meeting you're attending. So we will consolidate towards the end, and then I can, discuss those questions at the end. So we'll keep half of this session for Q&A, okay? For now, I'll take a pause before I get on with covering these topics. I would like to, start a poll. Just take some, I would say, kind of a quick background check about you all. This is more for me to profile your background so that when I deliver some content, I can highlight the segment and give some relevant examples. So that will be better for me, better for you as well. Are you all up for the polls now? You can't say anything, but I hope you're all up for it. So should I launch now, guys? Organizers, can I launch the poll now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So there are some questions now shared with you all. I will give, I would say, 2 minutes. There are 5 questions for you to answer. So Ansh and Uday, please help me once you think we are ready to end the poll.
Sure, sir.
But in the meantime, I also see a lot of chats coming. Oh yeah. I can see now almost 38 have responded, half of the attendees. Some are still thinking, I think. That's nice. Let's see. So 82 in Zoom. How many are joining through YouTube? Are you able to count that as well?
So there are 20 to 25 people on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll try to average that out with them as well. Okay.
Yes, sir. Team is working on it.
About 20 are still thinking. Interesting. Okay. Most of them are coming with data science background. Okay. I don't know what they mean by other in this case, if it is not app infrastructure. So 20 are yet to respond. Should we end the poll now, or you want to give another minute, guys?
Actually, we have more participants coming on, so I guess that will increase. We are close to 90 now in Zoom.
Correct.
We can end the poll, I guess, sir.
But I think we
Okay.
got an idea.
Yeah.
So I think no basic level of exposure is what we are having almost. You see 95% coming in that level. And yeah, that resonates well in the next two questions. Then here, but the interesting part where I'm surprised is when you have no basic exposure, but people are interested to leverage cloud as a core part of their career. That's very interesting. That's going to be a big shift then. Okay. And the classification, when I look at it, it's overwhelmingly on the data science background. Okay. Okay. So in that case, I'll end the poll now. It's been on 4 minutes now. We'll try to generalize this for others. Great. Super. I can click on share results also, right?
Yeah, sir.
Great. So yeah, I'm sharing with all now. So then I will get on with the presentation. This is really helpful. Thanks all for responding quickly. So I'll get going then from here. Okay. So given that we have completed our poll, let me then start with our first topic, that is introducing cloud computing and formulating a roadmap. Okay. This is one thing I want to make it very clear in the beginning. The definition is something you'll find a lot, okay, when you Google. Most of the training sessions, especially at a fundamental level, start with this. Yeah, so I'm going to cover, but it's not going to be the main focus for us, okay? Firstly, what I would like to highlight when you talk about cloud, see, it's not new. many people think cloud is new. And there is something very important about cloud as a technology for you to relate to. Okay. When you talk about a new technology, typically people will be, classifying it. Is it at an experimental stage, or is it something that is matured, used commonly, right? Most of the technologies, when they come to the market for us to use, they will evolve and mature as people are using it. Okay. Take an example of phone as a technology. It did not become a standard initially. There were early adopters, people had issues, and then it develops into a state where everybody now knows it's reliable, I can use it, right? That's how the typical curve is with technology. But with cloud, it's a complete reverse for you all to keep in mind. Okay. When it was launched in 2006. So we are talking about more than 1.5 decades. It's already there, right? So now, how did these guys launch it? That's the interesting part that you should know about cloud. Okay. Basically, cloud is not something that they thought through as an offering, built it, introduced to people, and then mature it. No. They actually, if you look at Amazon started as an organization, selling books. Then they wanted to sell it online, and they wanted to sell it globally. So they built an infrastructure that can meet their business needs. Then they realized they built something so fantastic. Why can't this be a service offering itself? So Amazon is an e-commerce company. Amazon Web Services is a company that has been carved out from the Amazon, the original business company, to offer cloud platform as a service, right? So this is something what we get is already used by a successful organization. Same way it goes to Google, Microsoft, and all the big guns. Basically, whatever they expose to us as a service, it is not something introduced to us newly. Rather, it is matured for their own use. Then they will democratize it or give it access to all. So that way, it's a lot more reliable, safe service, right? But then, when you look at it from a definition point of view, when you use cloud, there are delivery models, there are deployment models, and all that, right? Most important thing for you to first understand about cloud is it's on demand. This is the biggest difference a business will get, or even an end user like you will get. Whoever wants to build some solution, typically you need some cloud computing power, right? So either you can have your own desktop setup, you can have a laptop, or you want a server which you can compose to your needs and use it for your needs in terms of duration, everything. That on-demand part is the most important characteristics, I would say. That's why it's very mentioned with a bigger box, mainly because that is what the differentiator. So people going to cloud means, when you look at it ubiquitously, it is used as public cloud means cloud. It's synonymous. When you say cloud, it is public cloud. But that's not the only thing. Like you see here, public is one thing. There are private clouds as well. So the same characteristics apply. Private means I will build my own cloud, setup. It can be on-premise, or I can have public and private, combined together as hybrid. Most of the enterprises would have a hybrid. I would compare that with your day-to-day situation, right? Let's say you have some money. You don't keep all the money. Traditionally, we used to keep all the money at home. Then it's not safe. Then what we did, we started to deposit the money in the bank, right? You still have some cash. You're still having the money in your bank. Whenever you need, you can always use your ATM. You can use your online banking. But at the same time, you do carry cash. That's what the reality is for most of the enterprises. They can't go all out public cloud. They will have some private, which is like cash at home. Then they will have something in the public, that is bank. This is how things operate. And there are certain companies called born in the cloud. They operate everything in the public cloud. Okay. So that's something for you to keep. The important part is, how do you leverage cloud? It comes in the flavor of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. These three things, you should have a good understanding of the definition. I will cover that in the questions part later on towards the end. But I think this is something that you should know. You should first go through certain videos and develop a good understanding of what these three things means. And you will be mostly using a combination of the three models. There is nothing like you will only use infra, only platform, or software as a service. It will be a combination. For what you will use what service is what you will develop an understanding over a period of time. Okay, guys. So the most important thing for you to keep is, are you able to set up your computing power on demand? That is cloud. And that can make a huge difference for you today to run your business, because the business is agile. They want flexibility, which cloud is offering. I'm not going to delve deeper into the definition because it'll look a little boring and all that, because this is something that you'll available in number of videos you can go through. I would rather focus on how you can, leverage from now on, right? Because when you look at the videos, whenever you learn, you want to know what is the benefit, right? That's how you start. You should not you should not misunderstand the benefits of cloud, because when you look at many articles or videos, you will see overwhelmingly, mentioning about it saves a lot of cost saving and all that. And it's scalable. You can do, business continuity, which is your, DR setup, no disaster recovery setup, or BCP they call, no business continuity plan. All this is good. But now we are 15 years in this. We don't want to be still talking about it. This is good. They were the initial drivers. They continue to be there. But is this all what it is? No. This is good. But for you as a generation starting now to learn about cloud, leveraging cloud from current and future point of view, I would look at not these benefits alone, but I would like you to start with something that is very important for you all to know, is the digital transformation that we are into. Okay, there are many classifications available, but quickly for you to get an idea about what is digital transformation, first to look at the history. When the computers were introduced, people were overwhelmingly focused on digitizing it, which is whatever you are doing paper-based, they started to record it as is digitize, record it in the computer. Then they started to digitalize, make some applications, workflows, and all that. Now they realize we recorded a lot of information digitally. We built some workflows and all that, but we are not actually making use of this data or information. And that is where the new things come into play. Now we are at an age we call digital transformation, where businesses are able to leverage the real information that is available now by converting them into insights. So they're able to make some business decision. It's all about how you model your business, okay? So that where you put end customers as your focal point. So now the services that you get around are customized for you, because we are able to know about you, how there is data collected. It's a very big topic. It is not the main scope of this presentation, but I would encourage you to read and know about what is digital transformation. The reason is because you're starting your career now, you are in this phase, so you can jumpstart from here. Okay, make a note of digital transformation. But then, how are we going to focus in this? We will not talk about what is digital transformation, but you should know why businesses are looking at digital transformation, why they are transforming themselves. There are two reasons. One is the new companies that came, as I mentioned, born in the cloud companies, right? An example, if you look at as, say, Facebook or Amazon, you go to the website, now you order some stuff there, or you go to Zepto now, Zomato now. They're all born in the cloud companies, Uber, all this, right? Ola. What does that mean? They're leveraging the digital technologies, and they are entirely, built on cloud, right? They are very new age. They have given such level of personalization. Now it's challenging traditional businesses. They also need put customer first. That's why if you look at it, if for business to grow in new markets, it's a possibility now, because when you have cloud, it gives you global reach, right? Most important thing you see, evolving customer behaviors and presence. So now traditional things, let's take State Bank of India. They have been traditionally very successful with branch office, meeting, in customers there. They built their businesses very well, but can they sustain it with the new age banking? That's a question. So they need to remodel themselves. I'm just giving one example. For you, how to look at that, I'll give you some examples. But for now, I would request you to focus on these drivers. So there is growth is now possible by entering into new markets, which means you need scale, you need elasticity, global reach. There's a greater emphasis on customer behaviors and their preferences. So you need to be customer first. There is competitive pressure because a company which can launch a year ago can completely disrupt a traditionally very successful company. Just like that. Because if you're not digitally transforming yourself, you will cease to exist. Okay, that's super important. No matter how good you are, a new technology can pull you down. Unless until you leverage a new technology, it's a challenge. Okay, so just make note of this. But then, when we now talk about cloud computing, I also want to talk about from a roadmap point of view, we are slightly expanding into another computing called ubiquitous computing. Make a note of it. This is something maybe of interest for you. What is ubiquitous computing? If you look at it, there is an evolution. When you talk about cloud computing on demand that we discussed, is there. It is not unlike the curve that you see. We are transitioning into new. This is augmenting cloud computing. This is another expansion alongside cloud computing that is happening. So what is it doing in ubiquitous computing? If you see, cloud computing, basically it centralizes, like whatever you do in the cloud. It's great because you get amazing elasticity. You can compute with bigger scale quickly. Then you can scale down on demand, all of that. It's great. But is that all what we want to do? No. Now there is edge computing that is coming, which means you are now able to take this processing computing capability to a smaller devices or sensors. You would have heard about IoT, Internet of Things, that in fact started things. But what edge computing or ubiquitous computing is helping you to do is, actually we can make use of any device. Okay, any device, not just IoT specific sensors. It can be any device, basically ubiquitous. Everywhere you are computing. So we are talking about wearables, we are talking about IoT devices and all that, right? All are going to have their own computing, but it's not transitioning to edge. It is expanding to edge. So we'll be using cloud computing, edge computing in your quantum computing world. So if you are starting now, it is worthwhile, right? You not just focus only on cloud, learn about edge computing, you learn about ubiquitous computing. So that way you align with the cloud computing as to what it is and how you can leverage that, right? So I'm going to transition to the next topic, that is how you can apply this, right? So we are already half an hour down the line, so I have to go a little fast. Basically, I will tell you, when we talk about in the industry, when we develop anything in cloud or digital, when we talk about greenfield, brownfield. Because when you look at applications, they all have been built already. Most of the apps, especially, we are not trying to think something new. Mostly 90, 85, 90, 95% built. So that is called as brownfield, which means you are transitioning to a digital technology. You're converting them, modernizing them, all of that. But at the same time, you also build new solutions. That is called as greenfield. For you, because you're starting your career now, you don't need to focus so much on this conversion or modernization. You can focus on building something new, ground up, fresh, more digital. So the drivers, when you look at it, let's say people want to migrate to cloud, modernize to cloud. Same way, there is something they want to innovate in cloud. The innovation will focus on improving the experience. If you are able to do something that is better for end user, how Uber and Ola, are disrupted. They focus customer experience. I can book a cab anytime. I know where the cab driver is. He's going to pick me up. If I want to go to a destination, I can search the address so easily, and it's very intuitive. It gives me a great experience, right? We did not modernize fast track application cab booking into this. This is completely new. You think new. You're not trying to convert from what you already have. You try to think something new that can give you the experience. So this is something for people like you. You are in the best of the universities you can imagine. Your cohorts, your academic support, what you're getting, all of that gives you an edge for you to try this. That's something very beneficial for you to look at innovation one. So again, I'm repeating with another view. Many of us are trying to modernize their legacy. Some of them are thinking how I can start thinking something new, how I can innovate, how I can differentiate. I think this would be a good starting point for you, not how to modernize. So when you go look for information or training, try to focus on the innovation side rather than learning how to modernize in cloud. Okay, so that would help you to choose your segment. So with that, I'll just take a moment to take you through one of the cloud platforms. So if you look at it, when I go here, when you go to a cloud platform, currently I am with Azure Cloud Platform. The same applies for Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Platform or any public cloud. If you go there, typically the products are called as the cloud services. They are organized by various categories. So for you, when you want to start something that, experimenting edge computing or IoT you want to do, you can go into this section and you look at, okay, what is IoT edge? You can go into this, understand about it, look at a quick video. There is enough documentation when you go in there, right? So product overview is there. Have a quick video. But then you can go to the documentation if you want to learn, or you can go, through some training videos from here and learn. That's a very easy and quick way for you to get started on the various services available. But just don't stop with the services or the products here. Not that. There are also something called as solutions. When you go to solutions, you have industry solutions. So if you want to develop, let's say you are invited for a hackathon, let's say into healthcare, you have an idea. You want to build something using a wearable and all that. So you can also go into the healthcare specific industry solution, look at what are the things available, and you may use some wearables, how it can help a nurse or a patient, etc. That's your idea. But the idea is there are industry specific solutions also available from the same cloud platform, whether it's AWS or Google, they all are organized pretty much the same. Please explore products and solutions from here. Okay. But then getting on after this, I would say, if you're looking at your career point of view, it is good for you to know this classification. Okay. When you are approached by an organization, or when you are approaching an organization, you should know what type of an organization it is. Okay. An example is, systems integrator. These are typically the IT services company that you see. TCS, Tata, consulting services. You have CTS, Cognizant. You have Infosys, HCL. These are big giants from Indian IT services company, right? They're global, but they're basically Indian IT services. There are also MNCs like Accenture, all that, right? So they are called a systems integrator. Basically, I would like you to go and learn about it in detail later on. But basically, they will implement what they get from product companies, right? They don't sit and innovate. So when you're here, you're going to be mostly in the brownfield kind of. The other is enterprise. Let's say State Bank of India, we spoke about, or you have Shell, oil, petroleum organization. These are enterprises. They build IT solutions for their own use, right? So you can work for them. It will be more domain centric. They will have their own IT department. You can work, or you can work with CTS and help them whichever way. So that is one thing. They are more domain business focused. They may also have an IT department, which they call as captive. If you look at it, there are some captive setup, which means Shell being a petroleum company, they will have a big IT division. And for that IT division, they will have captive centers here. So when you say you're working for Shell in India, it means you're not doing anything in the petroleum side, on the domain side. You're building applications which are used by their businesses in their captive center. So here you will be specializing those solutions leveraged by that particular enterprise. These are all available. But what is more fascinating, which liberate you to think and all that, is the ISV segment, that is independent software vendor. This is what you call as product companies. The product companies They think about what the customers would want. They continuously innovate. These are the companies like, Facebook, Walmart, you have Amazon, so or Microsoft, for example. When you work here, are small product companies. I would personally, talk about Zoho. It's a product company from Chennai, right? Very, very hugely successful company. Recently, you would have heard about Freshworks, right? They made big headlines. What they do, they have their own products. They put their idea first. They build using latest technologies. Here, the dynamics are very different, right? It can be very stressful, aggressive, but at the same time, it will be fascinating, different level of experience, liberate your mind. So you should think about ISVs in your segment. Okay, I'm not saying you only should go, you think about that. Since you know what each company is trying to do, you know your own personality, your own aspirations, choose accordingly. Don't think, don't think every company is doing a similar kind of work. No, they're quite different. Choosing a company will determine what kind of work you're going to do. Okay, so with that, I recommend, focusing more on product companies. It's up to you. And for the ISVs, they have a lot of trends. Right now, if you look at it, 5G coming into picture, there is super opportunity that is there for us. An example is when 5G is available, it's further going to expand, your ubiquitous computing, because now network is going to be available at a broader range, at a faster range. It means it's going to power your ubiquitous computing, edge computing a lot more. So this is something that an infrastructure will fuel or support the growth of something else, right? See, mobile phones can only do well if there is good 2G started, then we have 4G, right? If the network is not good, there's not much you can do with mobile phones. See, that depends on a infrastructure like that. Likewise, edge computing requires good network, and 5G is something that is going to transform the way how we are going to look at. So keep an eye on that. Okay. So with this, now we are going to switch to the learning part. Learning in cloud, there are two ways I would recommend. Okay. First, a typical way is people wanting to learn. You can go to the respective cloud provider. And the example is, I can go here. Okay. Yeah. So if you look at it, AWS, Amazon, I'm trying to give equal importance to all platforms. Okay. So you can start by doing a foundational course, and then you may want to choose what kind of role you want to play, right? That is one thing. Or you may want to specialize on specific areas that are of interest. In the poll we saw, mostly, people said you have very basic level of exposure to cloud. So doing fundamentals, keep in mind it's a very basic overview. I would say do it, but that's not where you will get a good idea about cloud. Do it, and then you need to look at whether you're going to become a core developer. This is needed. So in the poll, some of you, displayed your interest that you want to be a core, end user for the cloud. In that case, you are going to be a developer, an architect, whatever, or operational side administrator or DevOps engineer. You may do this. Or if you want to focus more on your domain, like you're a data scientist and you want to leverage cloud, then there are options available for you. This is what you call a specialty. Same applies for Google Cloud, Azure. So that way you can learn using a platform. Typically, when you learn AWS, it's very easy for you to also learn Azure. They're not fundamentally different. There are some differences. Like you use your Samsung phone, you can use iPhone as well. It's just the user interface. A few things are different, but fundamentally, they are not different. Okay, it's just the experiences are different. Okay, so continuing there, this is one way. The other way is you want to start at a deeper level. That is, you are agnostic from any cloud platform. You're not aligning yourself to Azure or Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, OpenShift or anything. You want to leverage the core computing aspects. Then I would recommend cloudcomputepatterns.org. This will give you a thorough introduction of how actually cloud platforms are even developed. Okay, I will be sharing this link. This is something that I refer a lot in my solutioning. I enjoy this. Continuing here, there is another option for you. Please make a note of it. CNCF, Cloud Native Computing Foundation. What is cloud native? If you look at it, you're natively thinking cloud and developing for the cloud. Okay. So this means you are using all the cloud principles. I told you, the brownfield, greenfield. Brownfield is cloud enabled. You're moving to cloud, but you're not actually cloud. It's something like we are speaking English. We are not native English speakers, right? Sometimes we think in our native language, somehow we manage English. We are able to communicate. That is cloud enabled. But if you are a born English, a born German, born Spanish, the way you speak native, that is different. No, that is cloud native. This is fascinating place for me personally. This is you go to cloud computing patterns, and then CNCF, if you look at it, when I started a few years ago, it was able to fit in a small screen. Now, you can't imagine how the way it is proliferating. Whoever it is, a big shot or a new company just born in the cloud, they all are part of this. They're contributing. One thing fantastic about the current trend is we are open source. Whatever we invent, we are not keeping it for ourselves. Netflix invented something for themselves, they outsource. Lyft, they invented something for themselves, they outsource. So many people who invent something based on their need, like Cassandra, invented by Facebook for their need, they open source it. So all can use. So the technology that you're seeing are governed under this. This is an area for you to choose the areas of interest. And then you can delve deeper there. You can see which is incubating, which is graduated. So you can contribute as well here, plus leverage. This is a great starting point if you want to be agnostic and developing your cloud knowledge the right way. Okay. And if you want to program and you don't want to, start from the scratch, this is a super innovation. This is called as Copilot. Okay. This is a buddy which will do most of your work. This is a great innovation. I would say you all should try. OpenAI is a company that has come up with, generation of code using AI. They're very successful. So Microsoft bought them and they kind of come up with this model. I'll be sharing this link as well with you. So you are AI programmer. I don't have much time. Otherwise, I'll show you some demo and all that. I will share this link with you all. Please try this. This will be fantastic. You'll be doing things the right way and so quickly. Okay. So this is fascinating stuff for you. If you're trying to get started with programming, this is a great start for you. Please explore. What they've done is, most of our source code is part of GitHub. Microsoft bought GitHub. Now they have access to all our source code globally. They went through that. They found some patterns and they're able to use their patterns with a combination of AI and propose as we program, what are the next steps you can do. It's super intuitive, super successful. Please try this. Okay. And now learning, I started off saying, you can go through from AWS Azure, their learning path, or you can start with cloud computing using the CNCF and all that. These are all learning, but you need somebody to ignite the thought in your mind, a catalyst, all that. I would highly recommend you participate in hackathons. There is something called as architectural kata. Subscribe to community conferences like community-driven technology conferences. Okay, that you need to hook up with the meetups and other things. The more you attend, it adds an energy for you, adds perspective, and you will also get connected with like-minded people. So this will be a great catalyst, not only to learn, but also to collaborate. I would highly recommend when you talk about learning. Okay, guys. And now the time check. So we are now talking about the last part. We went through, what is cloud, practical applications, how we can learn. And you learn all this, what you want to do, you want to work, right? You want to have a great career in cloud. So one thing that you all should know, it's a big benefit for you all. This pandemic, Corona, COVID, what do you call it? This has actually brought in something called as tech intensity. Whatever we have been doing before 2020, before COVID struck us, it challenged a lot of our thinking. It kind of brought in tech intensity. It says through the power of digital, you can achieve the same work or even do better. Before we used to go to, offices. Before children used to go to a tuition class. Before a patient used to go and meet a doctor. Post-pandemic, we are going to school, we are going to office, but I don't need to go every day. The tuition class, you don't need to go to a tuition center. You can do online. It is continuing to stay. A patient now can do, what do you call, telehealth. Like you can have a video call with the doctor and they can suggest. Of course, they will invite you to the hospital for further diagnosis and check. But now these things are here to stay. I'm just giving you some common examples. But the tech intensity has brought now what before, how the enterprises thought through leveraging cloud, especially as now, very, very different post-pandemic. That is why you see now the market is very active now. The 90% of the people who are not actually core IT companies, who are more focused on their respective business and domain, they are now mandated to have tech intensity. Otherwise, they can't continue now. It's not that the 2 years when we had the corona, when we were all at home, we had to use digital technologies. No, post-corona, we are not completely continuing the way how it was, but partially continuing the hybrid way of doing. That is leveraging digital, leveraging traditional part. So this is an opportunity for you to look at every sector. If you have interest in any consumer retail stuff, you can do. If you are having specific focus on finance or healthcare or energy, any domain, most of you coming with data science background. Data science, you can look at technology point of view, but largely I would say it is a domain point of view. When you are trying to do some research, you need to understand your business, your key patterns, and then you will look at the models. You're not doing technology first, you need to think business first. So this is something that for you to keep in mind. There were also questions about cloud computing providers, who's better and all that. The AWS has an edge mainly because they started first. They started in 2006. The EC2, what they introduced, elastic cloud computing, was phenomenally successful. So company have a great reputation. They have their own product company called Amazon.com. So there is great reliability that this company has. People are, how do you say, they started with it, there is credibility. But Azure is catching up big time. Okay, so 18%. Google Cloud is the late entrant. They are also picking up. I don't know how the proportion is going to be in the future, but the top three are this. It doesn't matter which one you do. It doesn't matter, honestly. If you learn one, you'll easily catch up on the other. It's pretty easy. But I would say start with one of them from a public cloud point of view. Okay. And you can also do some innovative stuff, especially when you talk about building your own solutions. You can make them available in AWS or Azure or Google Marketplace. Like how you, in the App Store, you can go up buy apps. You can build app and publish in your Play Store, right? Likewise, in the cloud, you can build some specific solutions, right? And you can make them available in their marketplace. So this way, you can earn money, by publishing in their marketplace. So they go through the same governance checks and all that. If it is listed there, that's a great way for you to showcase it's a proven product. All that you need is more marketing to sell them. So this is something that you can think of. I've given you some examples how you can do. So there are also other things. You don't need full-blown solutions in the marketplace. You can also leverage certain things that are built for further development. There is something called as data science PaaS. What does that mean? We spoke about PaaS, or we will talk about it, platform as a service. There is a platform as a service specialized for data science. So that way, this will be a lot more productive for people who come with data science expectation, leverage a further more matured PaaS built for data scientists. So that way you can build your solutions very quickly. That's another way to look at as well in terms of your career. So with this, I would say 11:55 now. So I conclude the presentation. I'll just take a moment to check any questions you have put. Otherwise, I'm going to cover 25 predefined questions already before the session. You have shared this offline. So I'm going to cover this. I'll also check if there are any new questions being added now. Yeah, you can put in the chat. So far, I don't see any new questions, but please put them in if you have. Otherwise, I'll now get started with the questions that are put here. I'll zoom in so that it's easy for you. Hope you're able to see the questions, right? So the first question is, what are the special features AWS has, right? I wouldn't say, of course, AWS into something, then Azure and Google will catch up. Same way when Azure introduces, the other guys will catch up. That's how it's been, okay? Certain things, if you look at Kubernetes, that's been a standard now, introduced by Google. AWS is using it, Azure is using Kubernetes, OpenShift is using Kubernetes, like that is from Red Hat, right? So if it is good, people are acknowledging it because it's part of your CNCF, right? And then from here, whoever incubates, other people are also adopting it. So I wouldn't say there is a very big early advantage and all that. You will say only this platform has. It's more of your convenience. I repeat again, if you know AWS, you can easily learn Azure and Google. It's not that difficult. Okay. You also saw the segmentation I gave. 30 plus AWS, 18 is where Azure is, 8 Google. They are catching up. So which cloud company is best? It's all up to you. This is already a, you see the market share that they have. It's up to you to decide. I've chosen Azure and I'm focusing on it big time, mainly because if I work with 100 customers, 80 of them happen to be Azure. So I've developed a greater level of expertise there and I want to specialize in that. I know AWS and Google as well, but I'm focusing more on Azure. Some people are multi-cloud. I would say learn one, look at what other 2 platforms are, then this is a great way to have a foundation. Which service model do companies usually prefer? So see, when you look at it from a service model, right, point of view, I don't know what you're talking about. There is a deployment model, a service model. When you look at it, infrastructure as a service is there, platform as a service there, software as a service. If you look at the thumb rule, the preference is not to build anything on our own. Buy means leverage software as a service, which is ready-made. If you can't buy, then you build. But then don't build from a scratch, build using a platform. No. I cannot use any platform. I want something extremely customizable, highly controlled to my needs. Then you can use infrastructure. There are some cases which you can't do in platform. Okay, then you need to fall back on infrastructure. So the sequence goes like this. Try to buy as much as possible if you want certain features available for your needs. If it is not available, you need some specific expectation, build it from platform. If it is not possible, go here. This is the approach generally followed. I would also put it, I also wanted to give this example to you. If you look at top end ISVs, they may not go on a PaaS because PaaS is developed for quick productivity, but it's opinionated. You cannot have higher control on it. So then they will go with an option of IaaS. So if you look at Kubernetes, you can use the Kubernetes in 2 ways. You can use Kubernetes as part of AWS or Azure or Google as a matured offering, platform offering, or you can deploy your own Kubernetes and you can have a higher level of control, how you want to do it. Most of the product companies would leverage this because they want to have high control, because they will have specialists, experts only. So you want to focus on not productivity, you want to focus on higher control so that you can exactly deliver what you want. But if you look at enterprises, I told Shell, any state bank, for example, and all that, they are not looking at higher control. They want simpler application of cloud computing. They would prefer SaaS and PaaS. If not, they will go to IaaS. Okay. Product companies, naturally, I think they think IaaS and their own stack to their needs. Okay. So then it will be more cloud computing based. So that's about that part. What are the best resources to learn? I already answered that. What are the many ways to get free credits? Mostly what I've seen people use different email ID, put in to create and use the free credits. One problem with free credits is not all the service tiers are available and all that. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. When you attend events, they give you additional, credits that to motivate you. They know this guy is keen, so you'll use. So attending events is another good way for you to get more credits. Okay. Otherwise, be part of some organization at different capacity, even as a freelancer, part-time and all that, then you will have a proper environment for you to play with. Is BTech required? See, it all depends on your background. Okay. Qualification is always good to have. It definitely gives you confidence. It gives you confidence to the organization hiring you. Is it a must? If you ask me, in certain companies, yes, they do check on the qualification. But if you are able to showcase some talent that no one else has, then there are exceptions. But it's always good to have, in my opinion. Okay, I did all this later on. Initially, I showcased my talent, got into IT, and then I augmented qualifications as I progressed in my career for my own confidence and also for the organization. How can cloud computing help in use and storage of data of a business startup? See, I think for startups, it's a fantastic thing for you to start. Because in cloud, you don't have any capex. You don't need any big investment. It's pay-per-use. Today you decide to use, tomorrow you don't want, you can shut it down. Startups thrive leveraging cloud. Okay, so it's a great start for you, and it's very, very affordable in cloud. So look at cloud like this. Imagine you want to fly from, let's say, Chennai to Delhi. You can have a private jet. It will cost you a bomb. Or you can fly Indigo. Indigo is just, let's say, you pay 10,000 rupees to fly Chennai to Delhi. But you are paying 10 lakhs to fly Chennai to Delhi by a private jet. It's a big difference, right? And you know what? Surprisingly, Indigo's jet is far more equipped, safer than a private jet, because private jet comes with limited technology. Whereas a Airbus or a Boeing flying 300 people, the technology is at its best. There are hundreds of people working around it to keep it the best, and yet coming at 10,000 rupees. This is a shocker, right? Same concept in cloud. It's multi-tenanted. You get the best of the technology for a throwaway price. It doesn't mean that it's inferior. It's just that you're sharing with others. But there are some cases you can't share with others. A bank, it is mandated. So there are compliances. So you need a private cloud. That is your private jet, and you pay a bomb. Otherwise, everybody using, a common, airliner, right? But it's safe, affordable. Same thing here. You may have business class, economy class, premium, and all that. Same thing applies in cloud. You have premium tier, you have basic tier, and you can get your specialized things from it. Learn more about it. How should I develop my knowledge on cloud computing related to data science? That's a very good question. It's a very, very good question. I think I tried to put something for you all. Yeah. See, if you look at it, I told you, right? You can start with fundamentals, or you can go core, engineer, architect like that, or you can choose specialty. You remember that slide that we put, right? We discussed, no, the specialties. So if you look at it, in Microsoft, there is a specific thing just for data scientists. So this will give you only that are relevant for, same way AWS has, same way Google has. This is something fantastic for you, and they're giving you a pathway how you can achieve. You master the basics, acquire the advanced skills, and achieve the expertise. This is very, very, very structured way for that. So you don't need to learn so many other things around you. Just focus on what matters to you. So this link also I'm going to share so you can start. Okay. So that's about that part. Okay. How will you justify data privacy in cloud storage? First of all, I hope you understand the difference between data security and data privacy. Data privacy is more about you're managing your personal details so that it's not revealed to others. So the privacy is more about securing information such that you're not sharing with anyone, right? You share with controlled set of people in a very sometimes anonymous way, sometimes in a very coded way and all that. So there are some compliances like HIPAA, GDPR, and all that. So this is all supported in cloud. It is, I don't need to justify, it is fully certified there by those compliances. Okay. But there are some security systems. There are a lot of questions about security. So I thought I will do about it. So GDPR link I'll share. So they'll give you an idea about the privacy part, how it is supported in various platforms. But when it comes to security, I would like to talk about one thing. Security is a joint responsibility. You as a customer and provider. That is your Google or Amazon, Azure, whoever, Red Hat, the provider, right? So you actually work together. And there is one trend that is coming called as zero trust security model. Make a note of it. I'll be sharing this. Recently, this trend is in place. Now, earlier they had perimeter security, security more at a gate level. Now it is at a door level, closet level, every single thing you can talk about, every level they are now validating, or they are not trusting you. Zero trust, no trust. I have to check at every checkpoint. This is actually helping the organizations to feel a lot more secure in cloud. I will also be sharing that link about zero trust, how it operates. Have a read. This is very important if you're very concerned about the security related aspect. So I'm skipping all other the security related thing. Somebody asked about Web 3.0 and how this is happening. It's cloud and web are not super directly related, but they're complementing, because web is a lot to do with your browser, how things happen in the point of interface, your mobile phone, your any device, or your browser. But then cloud is more in the centralized area, how you compute, all of that. So, but there is a complementary thing. We spoke about ubiquitous computing. So the decentralized part, the Web 3.0, that's the way you should connect edge, ubiquitous computing, decentralized, and how things are going to come together. Now, even devices are going to be more tech savvy now. So all of that. So we have passed through this, I would say, Web 2.0. That's what I'm saying. We are finishing here and we are starting here. So don't be hung up too much on this alone. Your roadmap is more here now. So that's why I told in the very beginning, cloud and ubiquitous computing, you should be knowing cloud. It's complementing the ubiquitous computing. So, and then the AI part that you are data scientists, wow. Then it's all falling together, how you see here, right? Okay. Okay, somebody asked about quantum computing. I'm not really qualified to talk about it. This is the next stage. I think quantum and this ubiquitous computing also coming together somewhere. I would not take that question. I'm not in that space at all. Okay. How do data scientists make use of cloud computing? This is a super question. This is where, if you look at my initial slide, when I put forth, I spoke about digital transformation, right? So that when you talk about digital transformation, a lot to do with AI, artificial intelligence. A foundation of artificial intelligence for you here is ML. So when you look at it, the machine learning is doing a great job. How? Only when there is a data. You can't do only with models, right? You need data for you to train. The point is, now we have data. We are getting more and more data. We are augmenting data. We are collecting from everywhere. And now we are making use. Have we identified a lot of patterns? I don't know. I think there is a lot we can do. That's something you guys to solve that. Okay. I'm in the IT side. I'm in the cloud computing side, helping you. I'm not a data scientist. I work with data scientists. Data scientists look at the data, come with patterns, or they define what is the problem, look for the data through some patterns. Okay. So that's something I think you can do a great deal in many areas. I worked in energy a lot with companies like Chevron, ExxonMobil, Shell, and all. If you look at it, the way they go about doing research, the seismic data they're collecting to say where and how much the oil was there before, and how they're using data science, it's fantastic. So here you can do a lot of stuff with that. How much we have leverage, I don't know, but I think we can do a lot, and you guys are the people to solve that. So importance of cloud computing in ML/DL. See, for ML and DL, initially there was a technology called Hadoop, okay, which used the map reduce kind of a part, which soon died, and now we are into the Apache, the Spark. We are into a different world. We are collecting information, processing in a very different way. Look at it. For me, the computing power for ML/DL, a lot of specialized offerings are there that is going to help you do better. For you starting now, cloud is a foundation. There are a lot of notebooks available. You would have heard about Jupyter notebooks, a lot of such stuff available out of the box, throwaway price. For me, you can't do without cloud computing. No, that's how it is. Okay, but how well you are using, up to you. How cloud computing collaborates with AI? They are together, ma. AI is a specialized offering within cloud, but that's not the only offering. I showed you the Azure one, right? Here, AI, Azure. So cloud is complementing AI to do better. That's how I'll put it. What are the other possibilities? I mean, it's a very open-ended question, in my opinion. Cloud is more like English language. Whether you study physics, chemistry, history, geography, you need to know English. It doesn't matter what you do. You need to know cloud because that's where you're going to work. Whether it's public cloud or private cloud, that's mostly it's going to be a public cloud, a part of it in private cloud. So there is no question whether you need to know cloud or not. What level? You saw the question I asked. Are you an end user, power user? There is something called as low code platforms. Low code platform, please make a note of it. Low code platforms where you don't need to write program to build your solution. You can quickly do like how people use Excel in the past, right? Power users. Or you're a hardcore, developer, scientist, architect, then you'll be leveraging cloud services a bit more in detail, right? So that's very important. How does cloud computing work? Man, this is not the time for me to talk about, but we need a bigger session. But quick thing for you to know is the foundation for cloud computing is virtual. I would say machines that were invented before. The VMs still use VMs, but the way they are composed dynamically in cloud is what differentiates it. Please read about SDI, software defined infrastructure, SDN, software defined networks. What we used to do with physical hardware, now we are doing with the same thing in software. With software, we can compose things so quickly. Physically means somebody has to say, put together. Anytime you ask yes to somebody has to go and fiddle with it. Anything you do manually, it can be error prone. If you do software, it's quicker and it's not prone to errors. So that's how it is. I can quickly tell, but it's not the scope of this month. Please read about it. What's a perfect way to start learning cloud computing from the basics? We covered. What differentiates DevOps and MLOps? If you look at it, I have a picture for it for you. Oops. Yeah. So if you look at it from the first picture, DevOps, it evolved with keeping applications in mind. Okay, how you develop an application, how you deploy and monitor that, right? MLOps has that element as well. You still have to program when you do ML. You're not only developing the models, but you also will be doing some programming. So ML is an extension on top of DevOps. Okay, it extends with some things. So that is where if you look at specific things, how you, as a data scientist, how you go about developing your models, how you train them, how you do the whole life cycle, it takes care of. So basically, I would say you need to know foundation of DevOps. You will extend it with MLOps. I've seen most of the guys, we were able to train them DevOps engineers into MLOps and they are able to do. It's just that you need to have a little bit more, understanding about the life cycle of how you do the data science part. In application life cycle, we all know how most of us know, but in the machine learning, we need to expose that. That's what I explained here. Okay. Okay. Are cloud jobs stressful? A very cute question. I enjoy my job. I'm so happy with my job. I did get stress as well. I want to give you one practical answer. Basically, you need to enjoy your job. That is means you like what you're doing. But stress, I've learned it. I'm 45 years of age now. I've been in the industry now, close to 24 years now. What I realized is you need to decide how much you should work. There will be life cycle. Initially, I used to be only in the office. I loved it and I didn't have much issue spending 24 hours in the office. And then there were some personal situations come. Sometimes you want to prove in a career, you stretch and do and all that. You go through all of that, okay? Stress is something, after these many years, what I realized, you can decide how much you have to do. The stress is you to decide. It's not the organization. I've seen people who manage it very well is because they are not getting affected by pressures coming from this. They focus on what they do it very well. Stress is your attitude, your personality, any job. But first question you have to ask is, are you passionate about it? Are you enjoying it? Okay. But regardless, I told you, cloud is like English. Whatever you do, you need to know English as a language. Same way, whatever job you do, you need to know cloud fundamentals. You are going to use cloud. There is no other way out. So please know that. If you're going to take a hardcore job in cloud, that you have to check for yourself. plus the stress management, your personality, that you have to develop. How you develop, like me suffering and coming out, or like some people who manage it early, that's all up to you. How I can build my own cloud server, that's IaaS. You go, you can, go look into the segment that we discussed in the section, right? Go to the product, go to the compute. You can choose what kind of a server you want, create a virtual machine or set up a virtual machine with a scale set or container driven, whatever you want, you can build from there, right? How to learn cloud for beginner from non-CS background. Okay, see, when you look at it, cloud, we call IT and computer science. Computer science are people who are more into programming, right? If you're going to be a hardcore programmer, then CS background is good. But what they study in the 3 years, you can also develop if you're good at it, you're strong in maths, analytics, you can pick it up. Okay. For IT, CS is not important. It's more about information technology, how you compose things and put things together. You have to first ask yourself, are you going to be a hardcore developer? Then having CS background is good. You don't need to learn through a graduation alone. It's always good to have, but you can build it on your own as well. How does community relate to data science? Relate to means there is a specialization available for data science. What is a roadmap to start a career? Roadmap, I showed you, you can start with, foundation if you want to be a hardcore thing, start as an associate, build some specializations. This is one way to do. Or I would say go core, learn the patterns, right? Look at the landscape, which area you want to pick up. It's all up to you how you want to do this. Okay. And also I told you about ISVs, independent software vendors, or the product companies, how innovative and technology focused they will be. Choose the right area to work, leverage the right thing, edge computing and other things. So that would shape you up, I would say. Will experience in DevOps count while applying for data science? The transition that is happening is, before we used to have someone to provide you the infrastructure, maintain them, monitor them. Now, you as a developer, you can yourself do it. That's the only difference. So DevOps, I would say everyone should learn it. Whether you're going to do as an expert or you're going to leverage for your basic work is up to you. But DevOps, like cloud, you should know what is cloud. You can provision your own infrastructure, very easy. You can build and deploy your own application, very easy. You can monitor directly, very easy. That is DevOps, which means how you are working, Dev and Ops. DevOps engineer is someone who's specialized in DevOps. That is your career choice. But being a data science, I would, that picture that I put for you, right? This ML, DevOps, you should know. So you're able to build and deploy and do your own work. You don't need to depend on someone else. So you should know, in my opinion. Okay. So we are on time, 12:15. Let's see. Ansh, Uday, please help me. Is there anything else I need to cover?
Sir. 1 second, sir. One of the guy has asked, what is CLC?
I also want to ask, what is CLC? And can you expand this? Yeah, CLC.
One more question, sir. Will Azure, Google, AWS market monopolies affect the market newcomers in the cloud?
See, it's up to you. Nobody can predict it. But if you look at it, let me go to this point, right? See, this is you look at it, there are certain things infrastructure driven. Please understand. An example is, let's say electricity, it's state owned. Okay, because heavy infrastructure driven, right? But if you look at it, let's say next level, when you go telecom, you have today Jio, Airtel, a new guy coming in to challenge them. You know how much of investment you need to think of? It's beyond what you can imagine. Same with oil companies. New guy can come. Do you think you can go and invest in a well after 20 years, you realize you can't get anything out of it? There are certain industries, heavy investment driven, require some giants. As I told, all three of them had their own products. Google had Google search. They made money. They built infrastructure for that for global scale. They have carved out as a Google cloud offering. Microsoft had their own Microsoft products. They have Microsoft 365. They built Azure to carve out cloud offering. Amazon Web Services, Amazon.com, their e-commerce thing. They have carved out the thing and given. So you need to look at it. Okay, what Walmart did, Fortune 1 company, they bought our Flipkart. Merge it, they are doing something with it. The idea is Flipkart or Walmart is running on Azure and AWS. Okay, that big a giant as well. He has the money to go and start. Is he going to do? Some guys like IBM tried, they failed, I would say. I think they gave money to say it's fine. Even Oracle Cloud is there, right? Alibaba in China, because China has put restriction, Alibaba is there. Forget in the all over. So I would say treat them like telecom vendors. It's not something that a new entrant is going to come and give a global scale just like that. That's my view. And these are the guys who have global scale. The other products, they are doing this. So in my opinion, highly unlikely some new guy will come. But when you talk about SaaS, Zoho, Freshworks, they are not cloud providers. They are building solutions, cloud solutions, SaaS. That so many new things will come. They will kill an application just like that. Zero, one company kills Zero, okay? ZERO. They came with the accounting software, which killed all that 100 years successful company in 2 to 3 years, finished, gone. Service now came. They killed hundreds of years of company success stories. Boom. They are all SaaS. They are not platform providers. Okay. So the question is very different. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Few of them are just sharing their reviews. You can just come and read, and I guess we have no more questions.
Okay, that's good. It means we are all hungry, nearing lunchtime. Very nice to connect with you all. If there are any offline questions, please share. Organizers, I can also try to answer them offline. For now, I'll paste the links. I will share with Ansh, or I can put it in the chat as well. Up to you guys.
You can share me. I will mail them separately, so they will have it in the session.
Sure, I will share all of this. I kept it, so I'll put it in the chat here, Ansh. You can also then those who could not join also you can send. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I don't miss it anywhere. Oops, where is the send button? My
I've shared a feedback form, sir. So we'll like to have like
okay
form, and also there are some good reviews, so you can just read it out. So
for sure, thanks. See, there is nothing like sharing what you learn, and every opportunities like this we connect, we learn something. Somebody asked about CLC. I don't know what it is. I would like to go and please share the context what it is. And looking forward to meeting you all in some meetups, some technology conference in October. I'm collaborating with Microsoft to launch in Chennai a major 3-day technical conference. Please try to join. And I'm part of EPAM. I also want to owe something to my company. Try to look at our website, EPAM. It's a highly engineering-driven company. There's something that could interest some of you. We work with top customers and a fantastic company, very different genetics. I'm enjoying working here. If somebody wants to consider any career opportunities, please try the website, or also feel free to reach out to me. Okay, great, guys. Thanks a lot, Ansh, for reaching out to me. You're super prompt and very polite, very, what do you say? Much of this session happened. It's because of your efforts. And Uday, good connecting with you, on all the organizers who supported this event. Fantastic. Have a great day. Look forward to connecting with you all sometime in the future. Thanks, guys. Bye.
it was our pleasure, sir. Pleasure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the time. I know you are quite busy in this time. You're already working. And on the holiday, on a day where you like to have some time with the family, and you are giving us that time, that means a lot, sir. I would like Uday to request Uday to close the
I would like everyone to switch on their cameras for going. So thank you, sir, for this amazing webinar. And on behalf of the entire group, I sincerely appreciate it that you take your time out on busy schedule to be the speaker of our webinar. Your presence and sage advice made our purpose more powerful and relevant. And I think everyone's doubts are cleared now. We thank you for sharing your wisdom in a way that motivated so many people. I'm very grateful that you attended our seminar and lifted everyone's spirits. I would also like to thank our technical team, which are Ansh, Hita, Hassan and Naveen and many from the Paradox team, uh, and each and everyone who supported us in making this webinar a success. We look forward to our next interaction soon. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining. We would like to have a screenshot if you guys can stay. Thank you.
Please switch on your cameras.
Yeah, and please fill the feedback forms that will help us to organize few more events in the near future.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll mail you the details and everything. Please wait till the evening. I will mail you guys every detail, every link, and you can also ask us any questions in the mail itself, or else in the feedback session, in the feedback form. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the time. Yes, you will get a participant certificate, everyone, and all those who are interactive, who have asked questions to the speaker in the form, and also here in the chat box will get an appreciation certificate. You will get a certificate as soon as IITM recognizes it, so that you will have something valuable, not a certificate which is not valuable. So we have to wait till IITM just help us make the certificates for you guys. But we will try our best to make it soon.
You will get on the mail.
Yeah, you will get it on mails. I hope you guys got the mails, and you guys got all the mails which we sent regarding the reminder and everything. Thank you so much, guys. It was great session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Gaurav.